Hello and welcome to another episode of Margin Called, the only channel on YouTube dedicated to controlling your losses in the stock market. So I did take a couple of trades on Friday. Unfortunately, two of them were break even, one was a small loss. But I'm going to break down just how I looked at the market, especially given the conditions that we currently find ourselves in. This is a chart of the weekly SPY. I've got two EMAs on here, the 10 and the 20 EMA. From what I understand, this is supposed to be a pretty good way, at least in terms of long-term direction. So if you're making an investment, this could be one strategy that you can use to try to make some investment decisions. I thought this chart was particularly important because looking at what we've got going on here, we see that these two EMAs, it's on a bullish trend for sure right now. The 10 is on top, the 20 is on the bottom. But these two EMAs are growing further and further apart as price action gets stronger and stronger to the upside. Under these circumstances, we would basically just assume that the trend will continue until we see something significantly different otherwise. But at the same time, we've been hovering here. Looking at the high for the week, we did hit, it was on Friday, 451.36. Now, if we go all the way back here to the week of April 1st, 2022, the high then was 452.69. And as you can see, that was basically the lower high that we had printed before this significant downside action in the weeks and months that followed. So we're basically at a point really of major resistance for now at least. We've been able to break through this one pretty easily. We did have that period of consolidation, though, in order to do that. But going into Friday, I was kind of open-minded, at least, to try to anticipate if there were any sort of worthwhile opportunities. Jumping back to my intraday chart, this is the one that I've got on a 10-minute of SPY. We have the 200 EMA down here to kind of help us inform what types of trades that we want to make. And this right here is the price action that happened on Friday. Now, obviously, on a 10-minute time frame, we can see not a whole lot of real sharp swings or sharp movement. In fact, later in the day, we can see that it kind of got a little bit twisted up in these, I guess you could say, the alligator indicator, which is typically the types of trades that you would want to avoid. But at least in the morning, I remained a little bit bullish, and I wanted to see if there was a way that I could maybe make a trade at least to the upside while we still had this bullish momentum. So jumping into my scalping chart, you can see here, this is my 3-minute of SPY, and this is my 5-minute. Basically just two different charts that have two different time frames, but they both have the 9 EMA and the VWAP to help me make some trading decisions. Now, it looks like here, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you my, I guess we can call it loss porn for now, but here are the two break-even trades that I had. One was bullish to the upside with calls. The other one was to the downside with puts. And of course, I had my first trade for the day was this $160 loss. So going back to 10:11, I'll show you what I was looking at least on this time frame. And it was the fact that we had this real nice, I guess you could say, almost like a hammer candle on the 3-minute. As it tried to break down below VWAP, but VWAP held. And sure enough, the market did begin to make this very small bounce to the upside. I believe I was in some profit at this point when I entered at 10:11. However, as you can see, it just began to flush afterwards after that, and I think it was around this candle where I said, I just need to get out of this. I can't hold and hope any longer. So I went back to my 10-minute time frame to see if there were any other opportunities, especially if price action is going to be digging into deeper within these within the alligator, as long as these other lines to the top side don't necessarily take on that bearish turn, we should still be able to find another opportunity to go long to the upside. So that was at that point. Let me see what time that was. It looks like it was around 10:54. I went in with calls. Again, unfortunately, this was another break-even trade. But as you can see here, when we did establish a little bit of a bottom here, and I think that translates to the jaw line, so to speak, on the 10-minute time frame with the alligator. But once I got in here, it was looking fairly nice. However, with the way that the price action was kind of working out, and just the regular chop, I said to myself, I'm in this trade for too long. I haven't really seen any significant gains. I think I'm just going to get out of it now. So I spent the remainder of the day taking a closer look at what might have been going on in the market. And that's when I saw, unfortunately, can't see it here, but I think we should be able to show it, at least on the 3-minute and the 5-minute. That is when I saw what was happening here, where we established a high, but then a lower high with a low. So I said to myself, I think that this market is probably going to go down. Now, unfortunately, I didn't realize it at the time, but what we ended up printing, it looks like, at least in my estimation, is a descending triple top pattern. Again, on an intraday time frame. So we have a high, a low, lower high, a lower low, another lower high, and then another lower low for the day. Unfortunately, I got inputs too early, at least for the type of trade that I was anticipating. So I got in right around 1/4 with puts. I did break even on this trade, but let's go back to where we were. So this is what I was looking at least on the 3-minute. At 10 of or 1/4. I saw that we had basically a rejection of VWAP at this point. I had a nice bearish distance between VWAP and the 9 EMA. And I decided to get in puts here because I basically was anticipating a rejection at this level. And sure enough, I was right. I was in the trade, and I was actually profitable. I would have been a little bit profitable for the day, not a significant amount. But I said to myself, I think it's going to give more, and I think that this is going to make a stronger move to the downside. I was anticipating, let me jump to my 5-minute here. This is exactly what I was anticipating. At least some sort of a touch or a test of the 448 level and change, of course. Maybe not necessarily exact, but I did see the potential there for this market basically giving up another $1 in value. However, it began to recuperate, and I just decided to just get out of that position because I was going to get smoked if I held any longer. And sure enough, we did establish that third high for the day. It looks like it would happen like right around 2:15 or so. Actually had a very nice rejection off of VWAP once it made that recuperation. And that is when really, if you were going to take a short trade, that was really the time to do it. So it was right up here at like 450 and change. And if you had held, you probably could have squeezed close to $2 on that move. So, yeah, that would have been a really great trade. But by that point, I had basically been stopped out, and I had also, just mentally exhausted, so to speak. Wanted to avoid any sort of additional over trading if I could. But that's basically all I have to cover in this video. I do have another business trip that I'll be taking this upcoming week. I will try to provide updates as they come along. We'll see what happens tomorrow in the market, but I think I'll have to double check this as well. But I believe that this week could be monthly options expiration. So I definitely need to be a little bit careful. I know that when it comes to quad witching, I've gotten chopped up there multiple times. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for any sort of unusual action in that regard. That's basically it for this video. Thank you again for tuning in. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, if you get anything from it. And whatever you do, don't get margin called.